To a developing story in LA. Adam, what can you tell us about the Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert?
Hannah, doctors have diagnosed him with plantar fascia in his right foot, and they're recommending that he stay in a walking boot for approximately 2 weeks before beginning a gradual return to play ramp up. And the expectation right now is they believe he should be ready for the regular season opener against the Las Vegas Raiders. But let me say this. Number one, this is not how you want to start out your summer. This is not how you want to have your quarterback dealing with a walking boot if you're the new head coach of the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh. And this is the type of injury that stays with a player for a long period of time. He may be back for the regular season opener. That may be the expectation, but he's going to be playing through some discomfort in that foot, I think, potentially for the whole season.
Yeah, I mean, listen, anybody who's had that, professional football player, knows that it's painful and knows that you have to manage it as you go along, maybe for a long time, Dan.
Yeah, and I go back to last season and Joe Burrow with the calf injury in camp, and I understand that they're different injuries, but that calf injury had a pretty significant impact on Joe, both obviously missing a ton of camp, but then his play early in the season was so limited because he couldn't move around as much. And Justin's just as good of an athlete as Joe Burrow, you know, and so with this injury, essentially a month from the start of the season, I mean, it's a worst case scenario start type of thing for this offense that doesn't have a lot of perimeter talent. Ladd McConkey's probably going to be their leading receiver, so Joe was going to have to carry a lot. Justin was going to have to carry a lot of the weight when it comes to the offensive performance. So hopefully he can rest and get as healthy as possible and maybe pay a little bit of attention to Cincinnati. Did Joe rush it last year, and did that lead to some other injuries that made him? I don't know, but like
slow start the last two seasons for the Bengals.
First thing that came on my mind philosophically is it's a big deal. I'm not trying to get to that point at all, but Jim Harbaugh wants to run the football.
Sure.
And I think what they did in the offseason with Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins will give him kind of a understanding of what they need to do when Justin comes back. Right? Because you look at how the volume of passes we talked about that he threw in his first years in the NFL, which I thought they would take some of that off of his plate. And Dio, look, when you talk about Justin Herbert, and I used to be on here ranting and raving about moving around, I thought when Harbaugh showed up, we'd get a better version of Justin Herbert. Now, we might not get the astronomical numbers, and we might not see those gaudy stats, but we will see a more efficient quarterback similar to what I think is going to happen with Josh Allen in Buffalo. So it'll be interesting to see, one, how they manage the injury, but more importantly, this offense is going to be what the offense is going to be. And I want to see if Harbaugh is going to try to establish that line of scrimmage, which he's known for.
Yeah, but Herbert won't be getting those reps, at least not for the time being, Mina.
This is disappointing in part because I thought we might actually see more of a robust quarterback run game. I mean, we're talking about Jim Harbaugh. The offensive coordinator is Greg Roman. So when they hired him, I thought, get ready to learn QB power, buddy. And I was actually kind of excited to see it because Herbert's a good athlete, and I think this is going to limit him in that regard. So then I go from the QB run game to his ability to navigate a collapsing pocket, his movement abilities against pressure, and that's where you get a little bit worried, even with this rebuilt offensive line, and they've invested a lot into it, obviously drafting Joe Alt. Bradley Bozeman takes over for Corey Linsley at center. I feel like there's going to be a bit of an adjustment period, frankly, because as much as we like this offensive line, and I like the Chargers' approach to team building, it's still young and it's still in transition. And if the quarterback can't move back there because of it, there could be some rocky performances early on.
Yeah, definitely the potential to just set back their game plan.
All right. So that Justin Herbert's news is pretty. How can I put it? It's not good news. What's going on with Justin Herbert? The knee. I mean, not the knee. The injury in his foot. The foot injury. But again. What's making this what's so exciting about this offseason, about being a Chargers fan right now, and just really a football fan, is the fact that Jim Harbaugh is back in the NFL. My thing is that I am a very, very huge fan of Justin Herbert, and I believe Justin Herbert, to me, and I will make a separate video on this because this video isn't about so much on how great of a quarterback Justin Herbert is or why or how he's better than all the other quarterbacks in the NFL. But I honestly believe that Justin Herbert actually is the best quarterback in the NFL. But my thing is this: Justin Herbert's injury will be an effect. It will hurt the Chargers. But football is about coaching. And what makes the hiring this offseason so significant, and really we're being slept on right now, which I don't know why, because I guess because it's the Chargers. But the fact of the matter is that we have Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is the coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. If Jim Harbaugh's success was based only on Justin Herbert, I would not be as happy or joyful as a Charger fan right now. I just wouldn't. The fact of the matter is that we have Jim Harbaugh, and Jim Harbaugh is a great coach, not based on the quarterbacks that he has. He's a great coach based on him being able to coach any player to the highest of their potential. Really, to get the every single ounce out of a player, whoever is playing for him, putting his players in the best situation to win games. Jim Harbaugh is a coach that does not revolve around one player. I don't care how great of a player you are. I don't even care if you're Tom Brady. Jim Harbaugh is going to win with or without Tom Brady being his quarterback. He will win with or without Justin Herbert being his quarterback. That's just the bottom line. Will he win as many games as Justin Herbert being his quarterback? He may not. But if Justin Herbert's injury, if Justin Herbert doesn't come back to week 6, which he will not, which he will. I mean, he'll be playing for the Chargers. He'll be suiting up in week 1. But the point I'm making is that let's say if Justin Herbert somehow just doesn't come back to week 6, I have so much faith in Jim Harbaugh that we will win 4 out of those 6 games. 4 out of those 6 games if Justin Herbert was not our quarterback. That's how much faith I have in Jim Harbaugh. It matters, but at the same time, it's not as big as a deal as people are trying to make it. Even, especially given the fact that he'll be back at week 1. Okay, so he may not run as much, and I don't even believe that will be the case. I honestly don't think that's going to be the case at all. Jim Harbaugh is not going to change up the way he's going to approach this season. He's not. Jim Harbaugh's philosophy is that one man down, next man up. His philosophy is not around one player. It's not. Don't get me wrong. He wants to build the team around Justin Herbert. He wants to protect Justin Herbert. He loves Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is probably the most important player. Not probably, he is. He's the most important player in that entire team. But that does not mean that he is going to be coaching and winning games around one player. That doesn't mean that the system, the play calling, all that is just going to be around one player. Building around one player and calling games and winning games and building a system and everything like that and being around one player is 2 different things. Jim Harbaugh is a coach, a football coach, and he is getting football players. And he wants players who are not just players who just specialize in one position, really. He is getting players who can be able to do anything. He wants football players. A football player is a guy that can kick a ball and he can throw a ball. A football player is a guy who can block and he can run. A football player is a guy who can catch the ball and who can also block as well, or run as well, or kick as well, or who can punt as well, or who can play special teams as well. A player who can tackle and who also can catch a touchdown pass. Those are football players. That is what Jim Harbaugh is doing. So, no, it doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. Like the Delaney Walker hit his highest potential when Jim Harbaugh came. Jim Harbaugh squeezed the most out of Delaney Walker, the most out of Delaney Walker when he was coaching for the 49ers. Nobody even knew who Delaney Walker was, and then Jim Harbaugh came. He just got guys out of nowhere and put guys on the spotlight because he trains guys to be football players. He gets guys with this mindset, a football mindset. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about the Justin Herbert injury at all. That's Jim Harbaugh's whole entire point. I am not going to put this much pressure on Justin Herbert. The way how the NFL is going right now, quarterback-driven league, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, Jim Harbaugh is like, fine, you guys can go into that hype, but that's not me. I am getting football players, and this team is not going to be revolved around one player. And we're not going to be winning one way. People are getting all caught up on this run philosophy. Jim Harbaugh's philosophy is football, not just running the game, not just running the ball. When football was first originated, it was running first and it was passing second. It doesn't mean that you're only going to be running the ball. So no, I mean, people don't get it. People don't get it, and they'll get it until when they start seeing the Chargers win and they start seeing how Jim Harbaugh is going to be coaching games. We're not going to be one-dimensional. It's all around. Football is 3 phases. He's going to be running in 3 phases, man. A great coach wins in all phases, in any circumstances. It's about matchups, situational. It's not just one-dimensional. Why do you think Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season? Because Mike Tomlin knows how to coach football games. He knows how to build a team. He knows how to not have one player, have his entire system revolve around one player. Mike Tomlin will win in special teams. He will win on defense, or he will win on offense, or he will win on the running game. He will win in all different phases of football. Same for Andy Reid. Same for Sean McVay. We have a football coach now. A great football coach. This Justin Herbert injury is not as significant as people are trying to make it. It's significant, but not as significant. It's important, but not as important. It's a big deal, but it's not that big of a deal at all. When he suits up, when we start winning, everybody's going to forget about it. And I will even make the point that even if he doesn't suit up, we're still going to be winning because we have a football coach. And Harbaugh, I do trust. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share. Let me know what you think. See if you think Justin Herbert's injury is going to really play a really big part. Also let me know if you don't think that Jim Harbaugh is a great enough coach to win games without Justin Herbert. Please let me know. Thank you so much, and we'll be back tomorrow all day.